Here.
Here.
Here. Thank you. And closed session, a closed session of the city council may be held in accordance with the state law, which may include but not limited to the following types of items: personal matters, labor negotiations, security matters, providing instruction to real property negotiations, and conference with legal counsel regarding a pending litigation. The closed session will be held in the City Hall Conference Room located at 6136 Adobe Road, 29 Palms, California. Any public comment on closed session items will be taken before the closed session. Any required announcement or discussion at the closed session items or actions following the closed session will be made in the council chambers, 6136 Adobe Road, 29 Palms, California. One item, closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, Public Employment, Title, City Manager. Anybody from the public want to comment before we go in? Okay, closed session. Okay, I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need that.
Miss Cindy? Miss Cindy?
By the time I got home,
40 people there. They had a good auction the night before. She was all stressed out.
yeah, she told me Steve said they made about 3,000 for the auction. I was like, good for you.
Real better than that. They sold a few more the next day to people that, with
Cool.
5 or 6 that didn't go, and there only ended up being 2 that didn't go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I thought about coming back for the dinner, but I was like, by the time I get home, I'm like, I'm not going anyway.
I got you. I mean, it's like, this is hard for me to believe I'm here.
Yeah.
I thought they were coming out at 5:30, or they went in at 5:30.
So.
Hey, I can come in here and just shoot this place up.
Oh, Lord, kill Larry.
Hello? Can you hear me? I turned it off. So how's it going today? Thank you. There you go. Step to the mic. Oh, they moved this one up. How do you do?
Yes, hi.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, let's go.
Come out of closed session.
Doing outstanding, sir.
No, right?
No, because he has to go in the meeting, right?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Good. How you doing, sir? How's everything going? All right. Could be going great.
Honey, honey.
Hello, hello.
What? Oh, I don't sit up there anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But your picture's on there, you sit down there.
Boy, I look like I was young.
Look the same, exactly the same.
Say exactly the same, ugly.
I didn't say you were great, I just say you look the same. The category you want to put yourself in, that's on you.
Whenever we upload something, formatting stuff,
Presentation by Reach Out. Who is OH7?
It's not me. It's the other reach out to one in Yucca Valley. OH7 is one of those weird things that smoke shops sell that kids can get hold of.
Is that the Academy, whatever it is?
Catrum?
Tantrum, yeah, it is, yeah.
Kratum, yeah,
Kratum.
Kratum.
Keep
Cartron, that's a cool name, that's why they like it.
Kratum, yeah.
Makes you feel cool when you take it. Apparently, too old for it.
Well, we went out to the concert on Saturday night.
How was that?
It was really good till the wind got up to 50 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
So I heard.
It was
Yeah.
ripping, and it would hit so hard, it just come off that parking lot, and it's just like
Sandblast,
sandblasting, man. And everyone stayed, well, there was only probably
fight the fight.
for the first one, but I don't know, I hope they didn't make the second one even come out there,
Very good.
cause everyone it got cold.
Our stagecoach was getting it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they shut them down.
They started evacuating and they went away and they're like, okay, everyone come back. Yeah. It happens every year, it's like. I think they have an agreement with the canopy makers. Like, do it this year, canopy sales go up, they get destroyed and leave.
Mr. Larry Bowden,
What's
what
up?
are you doing?
Coming to a city council meeting.
He started walking up the.
So I did a couple different ways, that one,
Oh.
I mean, but that's the best we could do, because then it wouldn't do, but we still can barely see.
Yeah, if I would've known, I was gonna pass them, like, I couldn't even remember it, but
Mm.
I was like, oh, I need to take this home so I can remember it, and you guys said, oh, I have it in my bag. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Would you all like to do one of these? Sure.
How many did you make?
Thank you. You're welcome. 20, 22? Oh, you need of those?
Yeah, I just grabbed one, like, oh.
4 of them, I think.
think I memorized most of it.
Okay.
No, there's, okay, good.
How many pages was it?
No, I'll just leave, no back here.
No, and there were a few that people sent like a screenshot of it that said, you have completed yours, your search, but they didn't.
I didn't put it in my.
I can double check, it was a library one?
Yeah.
Chief Gardner,
Yes, sir, what's up?
the lady's coming to give the prayer tonight, that's the one that is the new owner of that lot that needs to have the work done,
Oh, okay,
engineering.
okay, so the road dedication. Yeah, I
I-
looked through our files, I know something got started somehow, let me call Richard, let me text him.
Well, Brenda was no help.
Brenda was no help?
When I talked to Brenda, I just gave up at the time. I go, well, I don't care. It's, you know, other than we own part of the road, which we gave to the city 40 years ago. Because you couldn't have put the road in
In theory.
And we signed an offer dedication then, I guess it's never been recorded.
I'm believing everything you're saying.
I can't find anything, cause I can't find any records of my dad's. I think Elaine threw everything out. Yeah, you could also ask Richard, where's Larry's street light, anytime and every time you see him. He'll know what you're talking about. Him and Chuck told me that it would have been up 10 times now. Oh, they're gonna start it next week.
Yeah, I got you. That'd be my brother, like, yay.
Yeah, and see, when this has clouds and stuff in it, so you can't tell the dirt from the clouds.
Oh, I see a little bit here. But it looks like a good pattern.
There you go.
It looks good though.
My dirt blends in with my clouds. My dirt blends in with my clouds.
Yes, they do. I would have never noticed it.
That's what I'm saying, like, oh, if you said someone looked at me, yeah.
I heard that something was going on at 5:15, so I said, geez, I'm late. Here I sit.
Oh, it was a closed session
Closed
at
session.
5:15.
I guess I'm not invited to those anymore.
Run again?
No thanks.
All right.
No, thanks.
I'm running away from again.
Yeah. We'll update your picture.
No, I like that one.
We'll put that back up there. We'll just bring it
I'm
over
gonna
there.
come get that one for my obituary.
That's gonna go in.
I've got some
Yeah?
from way back.
Where do you, to the museum?
That same picture? Or,
No,
I'm pretty chunky there, though.
The museum's asking for it.
the other one you have a red shirt on.
A red shirt, man. Must have been city manager picture.
No, this
sure I did, cause I'm that vain,
Here I am sticking with the same one. 10 years later, like, nope, don't change it.
I
I want
got
you
the
to see
same
the
shirt
growth.
on.
That'd be nice, like those school teachers do, they wear the same shirt in the yearbook for 20 years, the same shirt.
Yeah, I've
They
seen
change
that, that's pretty
it.
cool.
It's amazing they fit, that's all, that's the good, that's the.
I saw something about like Daniel Radcliffe did the same thing when he had the paparazzi following him, he just wore
It's what
exactly the
things, they
same.
didn't know what day you took it, yeah. You know what day they were, picture was, outfits the same.
There we go.
See, I didn't meet Eli.
Oh, didn't even
Just
call
quick-
Patrick, did you?
Oh, I was running it. We explained why, because, reason,
We handled it.
it was done, it was like, we just,
We were trying to save a couple dollars, so.
yeah. One reason is, like, the way it had to be, like, it is what it is.
Well,
How come it's Monday night, now that you, please notice me?
because there's some of the council members that won't be able to be here tomorrow. So we figured that.
Travel again, away.
Oh,
I don't know, man, I don't know if it's gonna be quick. And it's India, we got paid at 6.
I have to.
not with me in the audience, it's not gonna be quick, buddy.
Say what?
Not with me in the audience.
What are you gonna do? You gonna speak at every comment?
I'm just mad, yeah.
What are you mad about this time?
Just
He
being
said this
hot,
time.
just being
Whoa.
hot.
Just
I wanna know why I'm still alive.
stop. Oh, don't say that. I know. Scary. Don't do that.
Somebody said that at coffee this morning, I'm thinking, no.
And then they died this afternoon, so you go, well, it is what it is.
If they ask me, I would say, cause God's punishing us.
Has Clint's picture been up for a while?
Who?
I just feel like I'm just now noticing it.
Nah, that's been there a while.
Yeah.
Joe?
At least a year.
At least, yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know how fast they are getting them up.
Gotta get this. I'm picky like that. I want them all to be even.
Oh, but yeah, believe me, I look down here, I'm like,
Yeah.
over there I can't see it, but now that I sit here, I'm like,
I have straightened at least the tops up every time, but then the bottoms are out of whack.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, they're all, the top, the first ones are all the same. Then once you hit the bottom row, they didn't have the same frames anymore, so they started using a different profile, and the profiles are all different.
You know, Cinco de Mayo looked fine after partying at Cinco de Mayo.
all I gotta do is buy how
I
many?
didn't even know framing was that difficult. We don't have a framer in the city.
We did.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
gone.
I used to.
I think it's telling you.
Yeah, boy, somebody go ask her to frame.
I ain't saying I'll ask
something
nothing.
out there.
Nope,
Yeah,
nope.
man.
Nope, nope.
Terrible.
No.
You disrespect me out of it.
Yeah, I ain't saying nothing.
Are a lot of these people still around?
Dead, dead,
Oh, Jesus.
dead,
You guys are terrible, let's be.
dead,
Yeah, when I had
dead.
there's probably more now.
No, I'm counting. I know who they are.
Cause remember we did
There's
the,
4 of them that have passed away.
On here? At least 4?
Jack is
No,
in
there's
19.
only 4.
There's only 4.
I know everybody very personally.
Oh, okay.
Jack is in 19. I had all the mayors, the former mayors, come back for the parade, and there were some that were already deceased.
Yeah, Les Khrushchev. He died a long time ago. Frank Libby died a long time ago. Did she pass away?
I believe she did. I haven't seen GJ,
I haven't heard that she did.
but I haven't seen her.
Mac Dubois,
Dubois,
Marcel Dubay,
fresh hour.
Flock passed away just recently.
Where's Dubay at? Here?
Yeah.
That's in the post
I probably
office.
just, who's that?
The post
He's
office.
the post office,
They got
named
him?
after him.
Oh, the post, I thought you said like he's the postmaster there.
No,
Oh,
the
yeah.
post office named after him. Chuck Bell's not doing too good.
Yeah, I don't know how he's done as long as he has.
Yeah, he was supposed to come and do a tour with me last year, show the news that's coming to town. His son is bringing him, and we got, couldn't, we have an energy to drive around your window to where some of that.
seen them in
I
at
see
least
Benton all the
3
time.
years,
Oh, maybe she's gone.
3 or 4 years, I probably.
What a green
before
sticker,
COVID,
everybody
actually,
that's-
Larry.
Is this only the time when they, no, they, is their full council term?
But still, I've seen him, right?
Who?
Yucca?
Yeah, I had dinner with him the other day.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
You know him.
Bagley, yes. Oh my God,
How do you realize who it is?
no, he,
Yeah.
The hair.
There's right there, and I've already talked to him about what it
He's
is.
speaker, he's one of y'all.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've talked to
Thank
him
you so
before.
much. He had right
She's
to help me out,
everywhere.
cause I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
Is that right?
First
Is he hanging
assembly,
around?
Road dedication.
the road
What, the cowboy
dedication.
hat? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I had
okay.
no idea, cause he just bought the building, and I was like, Larry, can you help them?
Yeah, I, of course, all of them, I still.
Do you have
see-
the
I'm
honor
trying
of
to figure that out
recording
right
it
now.
or
Yeah,
recording?
glad he could help.
Nice.
We all came to the-
Oh, are you checking out the best looking ones now? I heard my name mentioned.
We're most likely to see class clown.
Well, not one, right?
They got a real good, hairstyle there.
Look at it, it's all nice and tall to the side.
Very nice.
How you doing today?
Well,
I'm just surprised I don't have a wine shirt with a tie.
Oh,
No, this one.
Talking about everybody.
Into-
Oh, both of them?
Better now.
For-
We're still here.
I run the senior center, I'm like.
he's actually wearing a very nice tie.
Yeah.
That looks expensive, actually.
He never wears ties either, so it's like.
Yeah.
That doesn't show an obituary anywhere.
Okay,
You got that one wrong. When I'm still living.
well, you know what, I'm glad to hear that, 'cause
Me too.
Four.
I like it. I did
Yeah,
too.
we got
Oh,
Liz
they
Myers,
she
we
was
got
friends with my
One,
mom and dad
two,
too, and they used to hang
one,
out
two,
together.
three,
I
four,
wondered
five.
Like me, but I
Oh,
wouldn't.
nice.
Six.
6?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, 6, April. But this, is this mayors or council in general?
They're all.
Retired.
Retired.
Yeah, all former city
Oh,
councilmen.
Yeah,
city
county
council.
And all of them except for Spear was never a council, or a mayor, neither was Core.
Oh.
Spear,
Who's the
Spear
person-
couldn't do it because he made such a trouble with the people he worked for, the San Bernardino County sheriffs. They said if he was the mayor, they were gonna transfer him to San Bernardino. And Cora said she didn't wanna be the mayor, so they didn't make her.
That's a big target.
Who's the lady to the left of Spear?
That's, my neighbor, and I forgot her name.
Your neighbor?
She was.
That's the only one I don't.
She
Bernal?
was- She, who?
Bernal?
Yeah, Elaine Bernal.
CHP?
CHP. CHP.
She pulled me over when I was 20 years old.
How long were
Wow,
you in jail?
that's.
As a Marine?
Yeah. She got me in Joshua Tree. Back then, before they changed me to be even lower than it is now, she got me. And she goes, you know what pulled you over? I go, because you have nothing better to do? That was a good answer. And then she said, you were going 55 and a 45 or something like that? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, the speed limit was 45. Like, I can see the sign that says 55. It's 10 feet from me when she pulled me over. So technically, I'm in the right. If you can see it, you can do it. She's like, well, I clocked you back there. I'm like,
I don't think if you.
I don't think that's how that works. What?
It hasn't even
a 20-year-old Marine, man. I don't know what
It hasn't even changed on your car yet.
Okay.
I was a 20-year-old Marine. I was, I can do anything I want.
That's true.
And she said, well, I want to get you for 5 over. I'm like,
Did you get a
thank you,
ticket?
man.
Did you get a ticket? That's all I wanna know.
5 over.
You talked yourself right into it, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I was getting one. Right when she passed me this way, I pulled over.
You playing football again?
Gonzalez, man.
It was 11:45 at night. I was only me and her on the road. When she went by me,
You were there.
she
You
turned
were
back
there.
to pull.
Oh, yeah. Or,
11:45 at night. We were just me and her on that road coming at each other.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you representing Z107 today?
Today, yes.
I saw her brake lights.
That's Trail? Huh? How you doing?
lost that wily coyote one night in the.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Oh, I got all kinds. I just showed Patty one.
Good?
Sure.
Not a long time ago too.
Look, he's sliding. He's sliding out. He's sliding out. The museum's gonna like that.
What are we doing?
I got no fun though. Oh, and the one that
this goes with this. Yeah. Hey, baby. No, I was trying to call. I bugged out. Just sorry. Love you too. Bye.
Well, nothing, stuff that is important that we need to work on. Shouldn't be too complicated.
Everybody in the world. Did they make that next person perform Saturday night?
Oh, yeah. I know, where did you guys go?
Home.
I was gonna go, but it was so windy. All you had to do was walk, what we did is, I suggested walk around the sticks and stones. That's how we just set up a PA. And so we walked across the sticks and stars, and she did her set there.
That's awesome. It just got too ugly. I mean, why do the one? But enough. And they were good. I enjoyed it. Was she good?
She was great, she was great, yes.
I wish you would have said that.
Well, I was, you know, I had to take a call, I walked away, literally walked away for 15 minutes to take a call, I walked back and it was gone.
Yeah. It's more than we thought we did our share that night.
So,
I went the week before, but last Saturday. Wind and I do not get along.
a lot of people.
Reach out in your house? Oh, am I? Oh, crap. I better get up there.
Yeah.
I get comfortable with it. And they told me that you guys do too. I sit there and I try to read your lips and diet. Beth in the house. Beth.
That's today. That's what they're going to talk about?
Oh, yeah. And then sometimes I go, oh, yeah. You can kind of do both, though, I guess. Yeah. Just kind of blend it in.
Just easier for me to be in front to
How
see.
about I only went on Friday, and I'm getting coaches, so that's what we want to go. You know what?
Yeah, the ABC already told, the bars don't do this stuff anyway, but they already told if you sell liquor, they better not be selling this stuff. So. Well, that's how they get rid of bath salts. They just, all you gotta do is have the ABC do anything. They have the most control of just over liquor. If you have a liquor license, they have the most control of anything. Yeah, if you have a liquor license, they don't need a search warrant. If they can, we think there's somebody in your back room, we wanna see what you have back there. They can walk right in, don't have a search warrant. They can ask me for my inventory list, like where I get my alcohol. They can ask me for my employee papers right there, no warrant. And they can ask for all of it right then and there. Yep. Yeah, they just ask you for it. And that's when you sign up for them, that's what you get.
I know, but it's nice.
Also, I thought you were gonna stop on that red light.
Oh, Mr. Bowden, Larry Bowden, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Would you please lead us in the pledge? Huh? Thank you, Mr. Bowden. All right.
Red Bull gave me wings.
Oh, really? You know, somebody sued them. They had to take that. They had to take that offer off. Mac told us that's right. Mac told us that.
It's still petty.
Well, no, they'll just think of anything to get money. That's all it is. That's all it was. That's all it was. Just to get money. Oh, good. Pretty creative though, if you think about it.
Yeah. It's just marketing.
That's all it was. Thank goodness they lost. The only one that I did hear was probably true when Budweiser had their slogan was "This Bud's for you." Somebody, flower person in St. Louis, where they're still brewing it, they named their company, their store, "This Bud's for you." Theoretically, it's flowers, two different things, but they said, "Oh no, these people have spent millions of dollars for this. This Bud's for you." So that's the only one I ever heard of that they actually made them change. How many, Cindy, how many public comments we got so far? Cindy. Cindy, how many public comments we got so far? Are they on the just open, or are they on the open one, or just the one?
Very eloquent. Yeah. They're not stopping. I'm surprised. They're determined.
Oh, discussion, public comment. See, okay, public. You're right. I do see. That's right, because that's not what these are. Is hearings. Okay, I got it right here. Public comment. I'll read it this time. Okay. Public comments closed. Okay. Gotcha. 2 minutes. Amy from First Assembly of God Church. I won't forget the speaker. I forgot Leanne last time, remember? I was just going right in there. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was bummed I had to miss that. Did you guys get dunked?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah. It was actually, I don't know if I told you, there was a little girl who kept dunking me. She had on all three of her shots, she dunked me. Her dad had to pull her away. Okay, honey, that's enough. Let the nice man breathe.
You know, there's different settings for that. They can put it like really tough to hit it, or like you have to hit it hard, or just barely hit it, it goes down. They must have it on barely. Did you really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think they got me. No.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. I didn't understand. I didn't think I was going to end up with little girls. What?
That's funny.
Yeah, I saw all of them. I was like, oh, yeah,
Where did Cindy go? I'm ready to start, man. Let's go.
no, this is still recognized, especially when the first one is, oh my God, that's a song.
Do not when you simplify it, they know exactly what you're saying.
That's a good one. I was I thought of that, but I wasn't in town.
A couple, actually. Yeah.
I got dunked like 10 times in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember I told you when I was on top track?
Did you?
You ready, Cindy? She ready?
I was trying to.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Should I lead it?
Yes, Mr. Bowden.
I will, thank you. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so I don't forget Pastor Amy from First Assembly, like I did Leanne last time.
Let's pray. Lord, we gather in this space tonight, united in purpose and community. We humbly seek your guidance and wisdom as we come together in service to the city of 29. Lord, we ask for your blessing on our mayor and city council members, granting them clarity of thought and strength of heart to lead with integrity and compassion. May they be filled with the courage to make decisions that reflect the best interest of all citizens. As the members of this community gather here today, we pray for peace to dwell within our hearts and throughout the proceedings. May we embrace unity, fostering relationships that bridge our differences and encourage understanding among all of us. Help us to rise above challenges, seeking common ground in our shared humanity. May our thoughts, words, and actions reflect kindness and respect towards one another. As we work together to build a brighter future, let us remember that our collective strength lies in our diversity. Inspire us to embody the spirit of service, ensuring that we take into account the needs of every individual. In your name we pray for harmony and hope, knowing that together we can create a thriving community for all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bildering. Councilwoman Ramirez.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Here.
Mayor Mintz.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Okay, we had a closed session, the announcement, there's no closed sessions announcements at this time. See item number 9 on the agenda. Oh, there's copies in the back, and we already gave copies to the press, so. Okay. Any changes to the agenda? Nope. Oh, thank you. Okay, these proceedings will be viewed on demand on the City of 29 Palms website at www.29palms.org. May also live stream this meeting by going to the city website and clicking the meeting agendas link. Awards, presentation, appointments, and proclamations. Presentation by Reach Out Yucca Valley on OH7 Kratum. Okay.
Thank you. Hello, council, community. My name's Carrie Kish. I'm program manager for our Reach Out office here in Yucca Valley. We have 3 offices. Out of Yucca Valley, we actually serve the population from Wonder Valley down to Morongo Valley and out to Pioneer Town. It's about 1,800 square miles. We do a lot of substance use prevention and intervention out of that office.
I'm Danielle Reed. I'm an outreach specialist, community health worker with our medicated assisted treatment program, and I'm also a 29 Palms resident.
So this topic is important to us on many levels, both personally and professionally. Within the last few months, we've seen a big rise of this in our community. I know I've seen us face various challenges as a community. I know we're smaller, but we are mighty when we come together. We'll talk about some of the challenges with this substance as well as what it is. Oh, Cindy. Stand by. So what is 7-0-H? 7-0-H is an abbreviated name for the compound that's found in the leaf of a kratom plant that grows naturally in Southeast Asia. That's a little bit incorrect. That basically, once you consume the kratom leaf, it will turn into this substance in your body. So you have to metabolize it to create this. Even in this form, it's not completely safe. There's a lot of health disclaimers, but especially once it hit commercialization in the US, it's being found in more and more concentrated forms, changing the chemistry of the item as well as the different formats that it's available. So now it's in gummies, it's in drinks, tablets, little bottles that look like energy drinks, etc. So the one that is the most dangerous right now that we're seeing a lot of folks come for treatment for is this concentrated synthetic that's created to mimic what would happen in your body if you consume the regular kratom leaf. And it's found in multiple different versions. Sale isn't regulated, so it can be as high as $15 to $40 a dose. A lot of folks are having to take it 8 to 9 times a day. So you can imagine the financial burden on folks that don't quite know what they're getting into. And in addition, I don't know if you're able to read that, but all of these products have different amounts of this substance in it. So it can be anywhere from 3 milligrams, or this product here is 30 on the purple card. Or you can see there's a product on the kind of bright green one. All of those different flavors have a different amount of this substance in it. And that's not readily clear when you go to pick it up. You might be saying, oh, I'd rather have pineapple than mango. And you're getting a completely different dosage of this substance. Why are we talking about this? Well, when we synthesize the kratom leaf down to this substance and create this synthetic substance, we're essentially creating a synthetic opioid. This synthetic opioid is available everywhere. Gas stations, convenience stores, liquor stores, grocery stores. You'll find it in the case with regular energy drinks. You'll find it next to tablets like ibuprofen and Advil. It's just considered like a health supplement. Now, some folks do report positive effects from this: pain relief, mood enhancement, sedation. Some folks like to take it for sleep, anxiety reduction, etc. It does have some side effects, even when I guess I want to say taken as prescribed, but there's no real directions on how to take it. But it can actually cause those same things you're trying to manage, right? And in addition, because we're creating a synthetic opioid, we develop dependence like with opioids. So the first time you take it, you'll get a certain reaction. Every time you'll have to take a little bit more or a little bit more frequently to continue to get that same reaction. So again, it binds to the same receptors as legal and illicit opioids. We've actually tested a couple products, and they test as fentanyl on our fentanyl test strips that we give out to the community. Now, that's not to say it's actually fentanyl, but it is a synthetic opioid in that it's binding to those receptors in your brain. Because it's binding to those same receptors, we can use things like Narcan, and we can use the various medications that have been developed to help folks in their recovery. With this product, it is an emerging substance, and everyone's taking different dosages and amounts. So it is a challenge for our medical system to address this. We started seeing this coming into Arizona, Nevada, social media, and media in around July or August of last year. By November, it had hit us, and it hit us pretty hard. Right now, I was at a conference in March, a federal conference in Washington, D.C., and multiple physicians were telling me they're trying to manage even just what we would call regular kratom, in that folks are taking up to 180, 200 pills a day to get these types of effects. So I do have concerns that kratom is moving our way and gaining popularity, and we'll start to see some issues with the kratom leaf itself, just because of the commercialization and the way that we like to do things in the U.S., where we market things in a way that is appealing to consumers, but sometimes doesn't tell the whole story. So this is just a visual, really, of from this time period in 2024 to 2025, we took in 13 new enrollments for opioids. In that same period, in the last 6 months, we've taken in 26. Now, some of that is due to advertising, marketing, word of mouth referrals, etc. But what we did not see in that first period was 7-OH or kratom at all. And now it's almost 30% or around 30% of our new enrollments for treatment. That means that this substance is affecting someone's life enough that they're saying, hey, I need help getting off of it, right? So they not only have to know we exist and can help with that, but they have to be ready and willing to reach out for help as well. So we have not been able to get clear numbers from like DAP or some of the programs down the hill that folks access treatment from to see if this number is maybe higher. But even looking at our numbers alone, 30% is pretty significant. So recently, it's hard when you're dealing with an emerging substance. One, toxicology reports take a while. Two, a lot of times polysubstance use is utilized, which means you're taking multiple substances together. So it's hard to get the statistics on this. We did just recently, this kind of personally hit us in that one of our partners in Yucca Valley that works with youth lost someone due to 7-OH. So, I mean, we can look at statistics, we can look at headlines, but when you see someone's face and you see the kids that were affected, that were friends with that individual, it definitely hits different. So it is here. It's definitely affecting us. It can definitely lead to overdose, especially when you're mixing it with other substances. Some of the direction people are getting is to take this when you're going to go out and drink, so it'll minimize hangover effects, which is really dangerous because they're both one of the reason opioids are so dangerous, right? Is because we take too much. Our opioid receptors get overwhelmed. Our breathing slows to the point that our brain and our organs are not getting oxygen, and it can cause us to die, right? So when you're taking it with another depressant, you're increasing your risks. In addition to that, some of these distributors are already mixing substances with THC and other substances, which again brings additional risks. Now, I'm not picking on this particular brand. I just picked one that we could look at more closely. So I'm not trying to affect anybody's income or come against a certain brand, right? I just wanted us to take a look at this. So this is one of the substances that's available and one of the brands that mixes with THC. And you can buy this in the amounts of up to 1,500 at a time online. This particular product, if you look on their website, it tells you to avoid taking any other substances with it. It also says that it's habit forming and can lead to substance abuse. Again, remembering that it's sold in packages up to 1,500 pills, right? So in some ways, and this is one of the issues we're having, is that there's so much mismatched marketing with it that sometimes it's hard to get the straight story of what it is or what it should be used for. Additionally, all this other information about people that should not take it is not necessarily included on the products themselves. We have other irregularities, like some will say age 18, some will say age 21. And probably the most common we see is this isn't something you should use continuously, and this is not for human use, right? This is for research. This is a botanical specimen. I used to work for San Diego Zoo, and I used to work for a time in the reptile house, and we would get calls all the time for these giant turtles because they used to sell them when they were about this big, right? And eventually we put laws into effect as a state and as a nation that you can't sell them when they're this big. But we said you could still sell them if you put the disclaimer there for educational purposes. So what did stores do initially? They just put that on there and kept going on with normal business, right? So sometimes we don't get legislation exactly perfect the first try either. And I think we have to look at what if we do put protections in place, what does that look like and what's actually going to work enforcement-wise, which I think comes back to us as a community deciding if we want this in our community. And this is just a picture of it on retail shelves in our area. So what is California doing about Kratom? The California Department of Public Health has declared these products that contain Kratom and 7-OH are illegal to sell or manufacture for consumption. What does that mean? Well, they've put out a decree to our regulatory and enforcement bodies, so those that give out licenses for tobacco sales, those that give out licenses for alcohol use, that they are to instruct those that are receiving these licenses not to sell these products and to remove them from their shelves. ABC, which is Alcohol Beverage Control, they have already started removing these products from shelves. Unfortunately, we're probably one of the last areas to get this type of enforcement, just because of the rural nature. San Bernardino County is huge, and enforcement capacity is stretched. My brother is a lieutenant in law enforcement. I'm very aware of the capacity issues that we have, right, as enforcement bodies and as legislative bodies. But they have started this, and hopefully we'll see an impact of that soon in the Morongo Basin. The California Department of Tax and Fee has also instructed their retailers to remove it from the shelves. If you'd like to see those directives, I did leave some packets in the back that y'all can take a look at. But what else can we do? Well, this is just saying that there is a state law that's coming, but it's in the assembly right now. It hasn't passed yet. So right now we're operating under the directives of the Department of Public Health. These are some of the local municipalities within Southern California that have started creating their own ordinances for Kratom and 7-OH to kind of expedite enforcement, to kind of iron out some of the enforcement issues, and to work harder to get it off the shelves. This shows where we as the city of 29 Palms fall within the state when it comes to opioid overdoses. We're in the 97th percentile. That means that we are one of the highest areas in the state for opioid overdose. As I've mentioned a couple times, capacity is stretched, right? We're a small organization. Sheriff's Department is small. Our legislative bodies are small, right? And so we're already stretched to capacity when we're dealing with fentanyl and illicit prescription use and things like that. And this is just adding another layer of pressure to an already extremely stretched community. Additionally, these are a couple maps where I've layered alcohol retail license. Closed bottle just means it's like your liquor stores, convenience stores, grocery stores, and schools. So you can see a lot of schools are within a couple miles of a place where this substance could be obtained, and the same with tobacco retail. Oh, I know I'm out of time, but I don't know if I may share these stories. But these are some of the stories from local community members that have approached us about this topic. A parent approached me at a coalition meeting saying that she had witnessed a 5th grader putting something in his water on a field trip. She asked to see it, and it was a Kratom product. It was 7-OH. Another community member approached me. Her brother utilizes a lot of energy drinks, and she saw that one of the ones he had obtained was 7-OH. He actually consented to test it with her, and it came up positive for fentanyl. We also had an individual in recovery who was doing very well, and all of a sudden fentanyl shows up on her urine panel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the recovery process, but when you're focusing that hard on something and you see something like that come up, it's extremely hard mentally to process that. And she had realized that a friend had given her something to help her sleep, and it was 7-OH. So this substance is very prevalent, and it's showing up all the way from our elementary schoolers into our high school and into our elderly community. That's all I have today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We got stuff all over the place here. Okay, so the council comments and reports and meetings attended. Councilmember Beltran?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the budget meeting, the personnel meeting, and a potential Veterans Program Service meeting, hopefully coming to our area, and that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez?
I went to the League of Cities 2026 Advocacy Priority for California Cities. I also attended several events for Partners Against Violence and had other meetings with community members.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wright?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I attended the, well, I actually didn't attend, but I got a phone call from the Veterans Service Program. We talked on the phone. And then also, I got the opportunity to attend the Youth Council Field Day and sit in the dunk tank. And my first statement was I was not going to get wet, and that didn't last long because I got plenty wet. Those kids was dunking me. They wasn't even giving me time to get back up on the thing. But it was a lot of fun, and they looked like they had a lot of fun too. And I tried something different. Councilmember Ramirez went before me, and she was talking all nice to the kids, and they was still dunking her. So I decided I was gonna talk trash to them, and that didn't work in my favor either. So, but they had fun, and I had fun, so it was a good time. And then I just want to let everybody know that we're gearing up for Warhawks football. Getting ready to start in July. We're getting ready to do this thing again. And this year we're actually in a new league, a different league that's a little bit more competitive or comparable to us. So we should have a great season this year. So thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I also attended the Youth Olympics, where I had the honor of sitting in the dunk tank as well. And you know, I didn't have a game plan like these two, and I still got dunked. I attended the Morongo Unified School District board meeting just to observe and learn, along with Councilmember Bilderin went there as well. And I had a meeting with a veteran organization called Re-Enlist to Life, who is wanting to do a veterans village just outside our city limits in the unincorporated area. Hope to work on a letter of support for that moving forward. And I attended the Partners Against Violence press conference for the mayor this morning and gave a proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, because this morning I was in Victorville at the MDAQMD air quality meeting. And a little report from there, the 29 Palms Liquor and Gas, they got a grant for $185,000 to put in 2 electric chargers, but it got delayed because the vendor wasn't able to install it right away, but they are extending the grant, so they didn't lose the grant. It's still coming. It's just strange how everybody wants one of those, or the state wants them put in, but there's nobody really to do it. I don't know. The LEAF program is still going on. That's if you have a gas-powered lawnmower, blower, edger, anything like that. Just go to their website and they'll exchange it for a battery-operated one. You have to pay a nominal fee, but it's way better, and it's a SHIL, S-H-I-L, battery-operated one, which is really good. Also, last week I attended the Mountain Desert meeting in Victorville. It's they talked a lot about Measure I and getting that moving forward. And I also got a meeting tomorrow with the Re-Enlist Village folks for the veterans. So we'll be talking to those tomorrow. And that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to acknowledge that Councilwoman Ramirez was also at the press conference this morning for the Partners Against Violence.
Thank you for being there, because like I say, I was in Victorville. Okay, consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar to be considered routine by the city council and will be reenacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the city council. The public may be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the council action. Does anybody want to pull an item? Okay, anybody from the public want to discuss any item on the consent calendar? Seeing nobody, I got no slips. Bring it back to council, waiting for a motion.
I move the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, item number 7, preliminary review of the 2026-27 general fund budget revisions.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Director of Finance, Ms. Abigail, will present on this.
Nope, it's on, but it's not working. Oh, was it you or me? That was you? Okay, yeah, I'll let you know. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, members of this community. As City Manager Stone mentioned, I'll be presenting the preliminary review of the budget revisions for fiscal year 26-27. And just as a way of background, as you may be aware, the city adopts a biannual budget every other year and makes revisions for each year as needed. Fiscal year 26-27 is the second year of the 2-year budget that was adopted last June of 2025. And since then, the city has received new and or revised revenue and expenditure estimates that merit revisions to the budget. The cycle for this budget revision started at the beginning of this year when the mid-year budget adjustments for fiscal year 25-26 were established and approved. In March of this year, the finance director met with department heads to go over the projections for the new fiscal year. And in April, major expenditure projections were or have been received, including the cost of living adjustment, sheriff's contract estimates, liability and property insurance rates, health and benefit rates, among others. The Budget Committee also met on April 20th of this year to discuss the budget revisions and make additional recommendations. The preliminary budget revisions for the special revenue funds and the sewer fund will be presented in the first meeting of May, and a public hearing will be conducted for the second meeting in May to adopt the budget revisions for the general fund budget. The budget revisions for all the general fund and the special revenue funds have to be approved and adopted by no later than June 30 of this year. Next slide, please. As you can see on this table, the preliminary budget revisions reflect a projected surplus of $11,000 compared to the original adopted budget, which were $4,000 only. I'll be discussing the surplus in more detail in subsequent slides. Next, please. Over the years, the city's top revenue expenditures continue to be including property tax in lieu of vehicle license fees, TOT, and sales tax. Unfortunately, due to the decline in net taxable assessed values over the past 2 fiscal years, revenues from property tax and property tax in lieu of vehicle license fees are combined are expected to be $249,000 lower than I had originally projected. For instance, in fiscal year 22-23, the city's net taxable assessed value increased by 11.16% from the prior year. In fiscal year 23-24, the increase was 12.01%. But for fiscal year 25-26, the increase is only expected to be 4.6%. So a little bit over, a little bit less than 60% from the prior year. In terms of where the money, next slide, please. In terms of where the money goes, the city's top expenditures include police, general services, community services. And as I've been mentioning in the past, city's operating revenues are not increasing at the same pace as our operating expenditures. For instance, what the city's top operating revenues for the past 2 fiscal years increased by an average of 5%. The sheriff's contract and salaries and benefits alone increased by an average of 9% over the same period.
The decline in major revenue sources is expected to continue in fiscal year 26-27. With that in mind, my recommendation is to establish cost-saving measures, including reducing non-essential costs. With this statement, I'm not saying that the city is going bankrupt, as I've heard from some people. I'm just, I'm not saying anything to that effect. I'm just saying that we should start placing more emphasis on addressing what the city needs versus what the city wants. Next slide, please. This table depicts the city's expenditures by type. As I mentioned before, the city's top expenditures include law enforcement services and salaries and benefits. This preliminary budget includes a 5% increase from the fiscal year 25-26 sheriff's contract, which equates to approximately $290,000. So that's quite a lot for our budget. The estimates for fiscal year 26-27 will be provided tomorrow by the Sheriff's Department at the annual Sheriff's Contract meeting. The preliminary budget, next slide. The preliminary budget also includes a 3.1% cost of living adjustment for wages. Other salaries and benefit revisions include the net savings from retirements during fiscal year 25-26, including the community service director and assistant planner. Next slide, please. The city is expected to end fiscal year 26-27 with a healthy unassigned fund balance of $12.2 million. One thing that I would like to highlight is that the city's reserve should be used for one-time projects or emergencies, not recurring transactions. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, the preliminary budget includes a cost of living adjustment or COLA of 3.1% and a 5% increase to the sheriff's contract. Other items included in this budget are a 3.1% CPI increase to all user fees, a 5 to 20% increase to liability and property insurance rates, a 41% increase from fiscal year 25-26 actuals to the city's required pension unfunded accrued liability, $30,000 for a membership to join the Joint Powers Authority for the San Bernardino Regional Housing Trust, and an additional $5,000 to the Youth Council. Next slide, please. The items that are not included in this budget include a full cost allocation plan, a comprehensive user fee study, acquisition and operating costs for implementing the Advanced Clear Fleets regulation, and the cost associated with updating the city's general plan. Also, to help balance the budget, the contributions to nonprofits was reduced from $75,000 to $50,000, and the Juneteenth event budget was removed. Next slide, please. So the recommendations for tonight is for City Council to review the preliminary budget revisions for fiscal year 26-27 and provide direction on staff's recommendation. The second item is for the City Council to approve an additional interfund transfer from the general fund to the capital projects fund for fiscal year 25-26 in the amount of $65,000. As I mentioned before, this is just a preliminary budget. Since we don't have the actual estimates for the sheriff's contract, which play a major role in how we allocate our expenses, I recommend that we don't add additional costs. If we can find additional cost measures, we can definitely, add those. But I would recommend not until we know the final number. Again, just a 1% increase could result in as much as $60,000 increase to our budget. So I just wanted to, point that out. And that concludes my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Any questions from council? Okay. So, we need to open the public comment then. Not hearing comment. Anyway, from the public, do we have any slips? No slips? Well, just come on up and then you can fill it out.
I'd like to inquire about the decision to remove what I think is about a $2,000 item, the Juneteenth celebration, from the budget. that seems to me to be a really important federal holiday. And as opposed to removing one item entirely, we celebrate a lot of holidays in this town. Isn't it possible to just take $250 or $500 across the board from the other holidays, as opposed to removing one holiday entirely that's really important to this community? Question about that decision?
I can comment on that. So, the city does have other line items for some holidays, like the 4th of July. We used to have a line item there when we used to partner with Yucca Valley, and so we had a bigger budget for that. But we no longer do that. And then the other major holiday, or the other holiday line item that we had was the Juneteenth event. But one of the things that were done this fiscal year was an RFP was sent out for to find an organization that could manage or organize the Juneteenth event. We've only received an incomplete application so far. That was the only one that we received so far. So we can definitely look into conducting the event inside. From my understanding is that Parks and Rec is, very, very constrained with their time. So we can definitely, entertain that idea and see what we can do. But I know that there's a flag, I believe you mentioned, there's a flag posting, and so we do provide coffee, donuts, and maybe something else we can provide this fiscal year. But not every major holiday is presented on the budget.
It's budget for this year, but not next year, correct?
Right. So fiscal year 25-26, we still have it on the budget. We don't have that for 26-27. That's correct.
And the city still does celebrate the day we come out here to the flag.
Correct.
Yeah, so we still honor it and do our little thing, just not as a nonprofit does it or something. Okay.
Yeah, so the event is not going to be removed completely. There's still going to be some activity associated with the holiday, just like any other holiday, just that specific budget line item.
And if I may add, though, too, the organization that has been partnering with the city for, I think, the last 3 years in Juneteenth, they will be doing a Juneteenth festival this year. They were able to do a fundraiser event and raise some funds, and that's good. That's kind of what we want. We want our community-based organizations to fundraise and have some skin in the game. We're a city that has a small budget, and we need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, I agree with your statement 100%. I think at this point is, we do want to see organizations go out and look for funding outside of the city because there is funding available. So, I really appreciate when I see those organizations going out and finding sources other than the city, because, our budget is very limited compared to other, California or at the federal level. So I appreciate that comment.
One last thing too, just because it's about Juneteenth. I just want to say, I just want to acknowledge Dr. Stone James, as well as at the time Mayor Bilderman, for even helping organize the first flag raising here at City Hall. I think that was very important for our community. Thank you.
Okay. You have a comment up, Robin? Just turn your slip in.
Thank you. Robin Schlosser, Reach Out Morongo Basin, 29 Palms resident. One of the things that concerned me in looking at the budget, and I understand that the city has, the fiscal responsibility, but was the severe cut to the contributions to nonprofit funding, where it went from $75,000 to $25,000. As one of the nonprofit organizations that applies to the city for funding, we provide services for seniors. We provide services to help feed them, to activities at the senior center, transportation, but we're only one of many that, we have others that provide food to the needy and the hungry to help stave that off. We have other programs that help with arts or activities, and so we would really hope that the city council could find a way to continue to provide services and support to the nonprofits here that provide much needed buffers to the community residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, isn't that because the CGB grants have been
So-
reduced?
So 25-26 was the first year that, and actually this was approved during the 2-year budget approval last year. And contributions to nonprofits have, for the most part, as far as I could tell, as far as like 5, 7, even 8 years ago, it's been $50,000. So we're putting it back to the number that it used to be. But from the city's requirement, we're only required to provide about 15% of what the city received from the CDBG fund, which, you know, for fiscal year 25-26 was only less than $15,000. So that's the cap that we are required to provide in contributions to nonprofits for, you know, for their operations. But so we're going above and beyond. We're doing, instead of capping it to $15,000, for the past years, it's been $50,000, and in 25-26 was $75,000. So we're just bringing it back to $50,000. And again, that's, you know, we want organizations to go outside of the city and find city, you know, find sources that we are, you know, now needing. I mean, reducing the $25,000, it helped, you know. When I presented to the budget committee, I presented a deficit of $35,000. So we had to make some adjustments there.
Thank you.
And that's not to say that the city doesn't want to partner with community-based organizations. Certainly, that's the goal of this council, I believe, is to partner with community-based organizations. But if there's a way that, you know, we can partner in a way to go after grants together, to where it's not an immediate impact on our budget, I mean, that's even better. The city is willing and to partner with you guys.
Okay.
Anything else?
All right, so any more public comments? Okay, I'm gonna close the public comment. Bring it back to council. So obviously, you don't need a vote on this right now. This is just a
I do need an approval for the interfund transfers for fiscal year
number
25-26 on, yeah, the second item.
All right.
If I can have
all right.
that
So can we
specifically.
get a motion for number 2? Yeah, number 2 on 7-2.
Make a motion, we approve additional transfers shown below in amount of $65,000 for fiscal year 25-26 from the general funds to the capital project funds.
Second.
Okay, yeah, motion and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Buildering,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
All right.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. Okay, number 8, waiver of requirement of traffic impact assessment for administrative use permit.
Good evening, Mayor. This is this item is going to be presented by our Community Development Director, Mr. Keith, this evening.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager and Mr. Mayor. So we have an application for administrative use permit on the southwest corner of Encilia, and it's called the South 29 Palms Outer Highway and very close to 29 Palms Highway. For a bit of perspective, let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. What you see to the east here is going to be the Burger King and the Stater Brothers Shopping Center. Okay. Typically, when we have and it is zone commercial, so it is allowed in this use or in this zone. Whenever we have development projects, we do a preliminary analysis as to what technical studies are done, if they're biological, drainage, traffic, and et cetera. City policy, which reflects Caltrans' desires, is that if there's any project that may cause 50 cars or more per day to be generated as a result of the project, then the city requests a traffic impact analysis. And we did run this, I did run this by Caltrans to see what kind of a traffic analysis they would need. And they also indicated that they would need to have some sort of traffic study or traffic analysis. Some context here, the South 29 Palms Highway is maintained by Caltrans. and it only goes one block. That's just the way the road's laid out right now. Some historic context, some recent developments, the grocery outlet and Starbucks have also had to conduct a traffic impact analysis. I do have the copies of the studies I can present, but in short, the traffic study for Starbucks studied the impacts of that proposed development on these 5 intersections. Grocery outlet had to study these 4 intersections. So doing these traffic impact studies is a case-by-case, project-by-project, because every project is different, every location is different. So we have to do this on a case-by-case basis. So standard procedure would be that we would request a traffic impact analysis. The applicant has argued against this, and he will present his case here shortly. And I think a lot of it has to do with, this is already a busy intersection with a commercial shopping center. So again, this is also a Caltrans requirement. So the choice before the city council is to either waive this requirement and then let the project move forward without it, or stick with the city policy and require the study.
And just a quick question for you, Keith. On the other Word document that you pulled up, I noticed there were multiple intersections. Do you want to just explain to the audience why, if, let's say, Starbucks in this location, or sure, Starbucks, that's located in one place, why would you analyze 5 different intersections?
So these are all of the intersections in the case of Starbucks that we anticipated traffic impacts from the Starbucks. So 3 of these are actually the project driveways of the site of the development. How wide the driveways have to be, if they have to be right in, right out only, et cetera, et cetera. The impacts to state, this is shorthand, so State Route 62 in Adobe and State Route 62 in Cholla, those are bordering the Starbucks. So they wanted to know what, if anything, as far as if these roads needed to have a stop sign or a median put in, or how wide the driveways could be, or if they needed to contribute to longer term traffic planning, like streetlights and things like that, depending on, that all depends on how much traffic is generated. So and the amount of traffic that's generated comes from the traffic study. So if we don't get a traffic study, then we will have to give our best guess estimate as to what those impacts would be and the appropriate mitigation.
Could you bring back the map where it shows that outer highway and the regular highway? So what you're saying, so Caltrans, that's their easement, is that whole outer highway? That's
right.
What so that is directly next to his property.
That's correct. So now that we have a maintained road list, we've got the outer highway shown in blue here, which indicates that is maintained by Caltrans. Okay. And then the green here, which is Ancilia, is maintained by the city. All right. The city and Caltrans coordinate a lot on maintenance issues, but that's their primary responsibility.
But the proximity to the highway and to that outer highway, Caltrans will still demand a traffic study from the state.
Yeah, so that's I confirmed that with the email. That's part of your staff report.
Yes, I saw it in there. Okay.
So when you say the applicant will be able to move forward, so he'll be able to move forward with the city entitlements. No, but when will the traffic study happen with Caltrans?
We would not require it, but Caltrans still might, unless they can be convinced that it's not required. I can tell you that the Oasis Car Wash, they requested one, and the city didn't mandate one, and they were held up for over a year getting Caltrans permits because they are also right there on the freeway.
And the city did not, you said, for that particular development?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So that's my presentation.
Any other questions for staff?
When did this entire process start?
It's part of it was part of the staff report. I believe they filed it in October, and we gave them the.
What year? 25?
Yeah, 25. Yeah, and then we gave them the initial review, and then here we are.
Any more questions? Okay. So,
Oh, he is.
okay,
And
you
Keith,
can,
did you tell the council about how often traffic studies are required of projects? Is it
Yeah.
2% of the time, 80%, 90%?
It depends on the project. So there is, particularly since this project has a drive-through, it is our city engineer's best estimate that this would generate at least 50 car trips per day. And if this is a smaller facility, he can make the case that it's, if there's a lot of what ifs here, but in our city engineer's best judgment, this is required.
okay. All right, well, the applicant's here, so if you want to.
Thank you, Mayor.
Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council and staff. In fact, this project has two road frontages. One is the outer ring, and one is right on Encilia. And I've been in the city for almost 30 years. I've seen, Caltrans do work on the highway, but I've never seen Caltrans do any work on the outer ring. I've talked to city staff. I've talked to the city engineer that I think the outer ring should have been vacated to the city. And both had agreed to me it should have, but it didn't happen. And I do realize we have a drive-through there, and city engineer likes to see a 6-car stacking. This project has 11 car stacking, and even though I've got a coffee shop planned there, I am talking to 2 other pharmacists since the Rite Aid has closed down, that they might be keen in opening a drive-through pharmacy there. Now, this project is also CEQA exempt, and I was on a conference call with the city staff and the city engineer, and the city engineer said he doesn't mind waiving the requirements for the traffic study. And fortunately, the city has passed an ordinance in 2005, and the only people who can waive that ordinance is the city council. Now, he also agreed with me that this project is more a passerby infill project that wouldn't be generating that high of a traffic where people would come just for the center, because of the Stater Brothers, Burger King. When they visit that, there's a good probability they will come to the center. So it's more an infill passerby center that wouldn't be generating that much traffic. But yes, people will be coming to that center, and I've built the Holiday Inn Express. I've built the Starlight Inn, the Social Yards, and the Oasis Inn and Suites. When I built the Holiday Inn Express, that was on almost 1.57 acres, and I built it in 2010 or 2008, somewhere around there. I'm actually surprised that there was no traffic study required from me then, and why this small project, which would happen to create job opportunities for local people in our community. And I'm also trying to give and mentor small business people how to start their businesses. So I am asking for you all to look at this seriously and try to grant a waiver, because the cost of building today, cost of entitlements, is really not penciling off to get developers to come in. I'm having a real hassle with my wife trying to convince her whether the project should move forward or not. So I'm actually looking for you guys, blessing that you all waive this requirement from me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for the applicant? No. No. Do you have a question for him while he's standing there? No. Okay, anybody have a question?
Not so much a question, but a comment. You mentioned that this has 11 car stacking, and the city engineer usually for this recommended 6.
They normally like to see 6, minimum 6. I've given 11. I've provided 11 car stacking, almost double the amount.
Yes, sir.
I can add to that. So the car stacking certainly is, relevant discussion. I would think that Keith might also agree with the fact that when the traffic analysis looks at the number of cars going in and out of the project, and also will the cars going in and out of this project impact other intersections. And so yes, as the applicant has so adeptly pointed out, the stacking certainly is well designed here. That traffic study does evaluate other things. How will this project impact the Stater Brothers traffic? So it's more than just stacking.
Could I just add something to what the city manager said? We've actually taken that into consideration. And if you look at the driveway entrance, it's in line with the Stater Brothers entrance. So it makes it very easy. And when you make that left turn going south, right onto Encilia, you'll normally make that left turn right into the property. It's not like you actually crossing other cars to get over, get into it. It's made very easy. And plus, we have an exit on the south side where you see the car coming out, the first car coming out. There's a exit there, and there's a alleyway there that we would pave and get the cars to go out. So it's not that much of an impact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No. Okay, we're going to open this to the public comment.
Thank you.
I have one slip up here. Scott Curry.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Vino's, as everyone knows, he's made quite the contributions to the city, development, things like that. So I'm here to support him. I would ask for a waiver. Caltrans, if he bypasses Caltrans, more power to him. The project is small. I travel that intersection every day. I go to Grocery Outlet and Stater Brothers, usually there 5 days a week. It's not a traffic backup hazard. Traffic doesn't back up onto the highway. And keep in mind, a new project like that, I have a home listed in escrow up the street from there, a single-family home. One single-family home brings about $100,000 in local revenue for Home Depot, even though it's not 29 Palms, lodging in our city, fast food, grocery food for the workers. So it's quite an impact, a positive impact on the city. And as Vino said, I've tried to pencil out developing single-family homes. We passed. We just can't make it work. It's very expensive, so we have a double layer, what you're asking for. If the city waives this, it still is reviewed by Caltrans much more heavily than the city probably would look at it. So I would encourage you to waive that. Anything we can do to reduce costs for new construction. We're kind of stale, even though the number of homes last year was impressive, number of home permits and things. It's still pretty slow, so let's see a little new commercial growth. I like his plan for smaller units. There's a demand for people starting out. Like he said, he can mentor new businesses. He can work with somebody that maybe doesn't have $100,000 in the bank to open a new office. So I would encourage you to work with him. Thank you.
Thank you. Loretta Ramirez.
Hi, my name is Lynette Ramirez.
Lynette, I'm sorry.
I also agree with the gentleman that finally we have a win-win. everyone's been complaining, there's no new businesses, there's no new jobs. And here we have businesses, temporary and permanent jobs, so it's a win-win. If Caltrans is going to look at it and require the, whatever they require, let them do it and let the city move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Larry Bowden, you're up.
Yeah, so where does it come out? Where's the entrance off and on? Is it on in Celia or is it on the outer highway?
Okay, so what the way it's designed, the outer highway curves to the south a little bit to make this a better intersection. The main entrance will be off of Encilia with a secondary entrance off this alleyway.
Okay, so I looked on my Google Earth. They maintain that right there in Celia, right? And it's half covered with dirt, as I looked at it on Google Earth just now. Then I went to Cactus and Pinion that the city does, and they're all clean. So Caltrans is responsible for keeping it clean. If Caltrans wants to have them do a traffic study to a place that comes out and goes to a stop light that's already there, you know, these intersections that you're showing, they're all intersections that are uncontrolled in the other places. So yeah, I could see a traffic study there, especially Starbucks right in the middle of downtown. He's off the main highway. He connects to the main highway up a different road. This is a city road in Celia, right? So if you say that Caltrans could actually make him do it, that's who should actually make him do it. If we don't have to make him do it, why do we make him do it? We give it to Caltrans and they go, well, we didn't need this. Well, if they need it, they should ask for it. If it's not a condition of the building, I don't know why the city would do that.
Thank you.
Can I just add something so it's in public knowledge?
Sure.
Mayor, in fact, I've talked to the city engineer, and since the outer ring is owned by Caltrans, he and I worked on getting the road the way he feels Caltrans might happen to approve it. And he goes, you know, I wish this city had owned that land. You wouldn't have to lose so much of frontage on the north east corner, if you take a good look at it. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody, any more public comments? Sure.
Leanne Clark. Well, I'm very much a big supporter of local business, and I think it's important for us to do what's necessary to help our local business owners be able to conduct business to service our residents. And based on what we've heard tonight, it appears to me that a waiver isn't something that's going to you know, bring any harm to anyone. It's going to be a win-win, as the gal earlier stated. So I recommend a granting of the waiver to Vino and his property.
Okay, thank you. Anybody, any more comments? Okay, I want to close the public comments. Bring it back to the council.
I'd like to share a couple of the things that we discussed at the Cal Cities function. On April 23rd, one of the things that we talked about was the California state budget, federal uncertainty, and what it means for local leaders. And during that session, it basically taught local leaders how to discuss trends and potential risks on the horizon, offering insights to city leaders on how to anticipate and navigate challenges, also how to advocate effectively for our cities. And then on the last day, there was also a keynote speaker by the name of Doug Griffiths with an S at the end. And his entire presentation was on 13 ways to kill your community and kill your city. And that got my attention because I want to make sure that we weren't doing any of them. But number 5 says send your residents to shop elsewhere, encouraging residents to spend their money in neighboring towns or online rather than supporting local businesses. And he really got into the fact that when there are these hurdles at a city level, all it does is just send our residents to go and spend their money somewhere else. And that's less money that we have in our budget. And we just heard that we were about to start operating at deficit. So I just, if the state wants to do it, then the state can do it. So I am ready to make a motion if that's okay, if there's nothing else. One more, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Actually, I do. I actually agree with Councilwoman Ramirez and most of our community, including the applicant, that one thing that makes the city of 29 Palms unique is that we have an abundance of small businesses and businesses that are operated by people that are local, owners and operators who can mentor staff. And I just want to commend Vino as well. I want to give you your flowers, sir. You've done an amazing job with your developments in the city, especially your Vino's Pub down there by your hotels. And I certainly think that this is something the city should pursue. I mean, when I say pursue, yeah, your development and give you your waiver.
I get to have a question then. If, let's say we did ask for the waiver, or not for the waiver, but the traffic study, it still only have to do one, right? The applicant only has to do one. So I guess, so if we waive it, then if Caltrans just says, no, it's going to affect both their intersections, then it's going to be up to him to negotiate with the state.
Which could cause delays.
And, you understand that, right? I mean,
I understand that. In fact, I think I know how to overcome that hurdle. I will also need the city staff and city corporation in there in seeing whether we can get hold of the outer ring road that's a block long. And
now you're talking about a totally different thing now. You're talking about, that's totally different. Okay. 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 So I guess this is a question for staff then. If he's talking about using staff, that means, is that incorporating to us charging for us using our staff time? If we're gonna do work for him? He just said he's gonna ask staff to do something. Okay. Okay, then I misunderstood what you just said. You said with cooperative staff. Okay. All right. Okay. I guess that answers my question. Okay. Yeah, you're ready for a motion?
I'm going to make a motion that the city waives the fee.
It's not the fee, it's the study.
The study, and defer to the state via Caltrans.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay. Cindy, roll call, you're up. You gotta move, Keith.
Okay.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez.
Aye.
Councilmember Bildering.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Good luck, Vino, with. Okay, number 9.
Put it on the calendar. Don't come back saying we don't love you. We all remember this day.
Number 9, appointment of a city manager, approval of related employment agreement, staff report, and related documents to be provided at the beginning of the meeting. And I guess this is me. Oh, yes.
I'm going to abstain from this conversation altogether. While I do not have a conflict of interest on the laws for my government official position, there is a potential conflict of interest due to my other line of work in healthcare, and a separate set of laws that I am expected to abide by, so I will be abstaining.
Okay, this was, when I talked about, coming out of closed session, item number 9. So this recommended action on this matter is to appoint Kevin Cole as the new city manager and approve the employment agreement with him. The city clerk has put a copy of the staff report on this matter on the table in the back and include a copy of the proposed, employment agreement. The background on this item, everyone knows that, Dr. Stone, he had recently, advised the council that he's resigning. We had to figure out how to move forward. In closed session, discuss the recruitment process we used to hire Stone, and only 2 years ago, we had the close number of 2 candidates at this time. That was Kevin Cole. So what I'll do is kind of give you a review of what we did 2 years ago, so everyone understands that this started. 2 years ago, we started recruitment on November 21st, 2023, and closed January 18th, 2024. We had 15 applicants and were received for this position. 8 of the 15 applicants were selected for interviews. One of them pulled out beforehand because he got a job. This is coming from HR, by the way, not my memory. First round of interviews was held February 7th, 2024, and February 9th, 2024. 3 out of the 7 that were interviewed were selected for second interviews. 2 interviews are scheduled for the top 3 interviews in round number 1. It was Stone, Kevin, and another gentleman, and the other gentleman, he pulled out before his second interview and didn't confirm anything. So at that time, the 4 that are sitting up here, we interviewed both applicants then, and then Stone was selected. So then, let's see, so then we had at our closed session, all 5 of us interviewed Kevin, and it was recommended that we offer him a contract. Kevin is an excellent candidate for the city manager position. He's familiar with the city, and having been on he's been on the council here and has worked with the city for 10 years, and I believe he's on the council for two terms, which would have been 8 or 9 years, 8 or 9 years. Well, 9 years. Well, thank you. While he was with the city, he was responsible for a lot of important projects. He was a project manager up here. He worked for directly with the city manager several times. And then he also provided technical expertise for local infrastructure. And obviously, he was a recreational supervisor and a project manager. Okay. He left the city and went to work for Copper Mountain College because he wanted to get a department head experience, specifically because he wanted to be in a position to be qualified to come back to the city as its manager. After the city interview, we all agreed that we had a great choice for the city manager and voted 5-0 and offered him the job, and subject to working out an employment agreement we could all agree on, which was approved in open session tonight. Obviously, Councilmember Ramirez has abstained from this part of it. Okay, his base salary would be $186,000. The same benefits for all department heads except that because of his prior tenure, he's a classic employee for PERS, and the contribution amount is 8% instead of the 7.75. But this is offset since Mr. Cole has agreed to accrue vacation pay at the rate of 5-year as a 5-year employee, which is 4.62. Instead of the 6.1, which you get because he's had over 10 years. And it would be, as for a 10-year employee, he gets a $700 a month car allowance. He gets the city use of a phone, $2,500 annually towards the cost of professional organizations, and a 6-month severance for the election. Because since there's 3 people be up for election this year, he'd get a 6-month. You can't fire him in 6 months for 6 months, or they have to pay him for a year. So that's big. It's all spelled out in legal form on the other things. So basically, that was it. That after the election, it's a 6-month cooling off period, I guess you'd call it, and then but that has nothing to do with cause. If he does something outrageous, that has nothing to do with it. This is just if somebody just gets 3 people get mad at him, then they can't fire him for 6 months, and then it's a year after that. The city would have to pay 6 months, and our insurance would cover the other 6 months. So, any questions from the council? Obviously, Councilmember Beltran and I were on the subcommittee that we negotiated with Kevin. So, anybody have any questions on the council? Seeing none. Okay, then I'm open for a public comment. Do I have any slips for public comment? I have no slips. Does anybody want the public, make a public comment? Come right up.
I
think
think
I have
Kevin
a slip.
Cole would be the perfect replacement for Stone, and I'm thankful to God because we were blessed with Frank, we were blessed with Stone, and I think that, Kevin will be just a perfect fit for us. He's lived here, he knows our community, he knows our needs, and I just think it'll be a very smooth transition to have him come in the position of our new city manager. Thank you.
Oh, I did forget to mention, it's on this other piece of paper, sorry, that it would be effective May 16th, you'd be the new city manager. So, any other comments? Come on up. Please fill out your slip, though, when you get Anna.
Hi, Anna Stump. I am a trustee at Copper Mountain College, and I just want to say that every time Kevin's name is brought up at the Board of Trustees meetings, it's always glowing. He's always done an amazing job, and I'm sure they're crying over there. How are they going to replace him? But anyway, highly approved. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments?
Hi, Robin Schlosser. I wanted to say I'm very happy that Kevin is going to be our new city manager. I had the honor of working with him for many years when he worked for the city before through my position at Reach Out Morongo Basin, and I think he's going to be exemplary. You know, he's knows the needs of the community. He's raised in this community, and his heart's here, and he's going to be a benefit for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Well, shoot, I wasn't planning to speak again, but I'm excited for this. Honestly, I've worked with Kevin quite a bit. As us, a nonprofit, non-governmental agency, collaborating with him on projects at the campus, I think he has an eye for identifying resources and connecting those resources to the issues, and I couldn't be more thrilled for this choice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other comments? All right, I'll close the public comment. Any other comments by the council? Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion we approve the proposed agreement and appoint Kevin Cole as the next city manager.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Scott? Or,
Aye.
sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Aye, still.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain?
You asked for this. Aye.
Mayor Mintz?
Aye.
Approved
Welcome, Kevin.
401.
Okay, now future council, oh wait, Councilman Ramirez, come on back. Okay, future council initiated items. Anybody have any?
I do. I'd like to make a future initiated item to discuss re-enlist to life a potential letter of recommendation.
Second.
Okay.
What? So he took
Okay.
took one of mine.
Yeah. So that's,
I know we're all gonna be fighting for that one.
right, so that, you got all that, that's for that.
Then also we can look into with Caltrans safe passage on Donnell Hill, on the north side of Donnell Hill. Over the pass, there's that dirt walkway, but at night you can't see it. There's put the brains together to figure out a path, lit, not lit, deterring pedestrians to walk across that, not the main road.
Not the main road, yeah.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, yeah, we'll get, because that'd be a Caltrans thing, right? We'd have to, yeah. Yeah, let's get on about that. They fix everything else up.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can get SPTCA to donate some money. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Okay, move on to public comment. This is the time of the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council is not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during their comments. There is a time limitation of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out a slip name slips and give it to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action and discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Public comments on the specific agenda items will be deferred until consideration on the agenda of this, on the item on this agenda, sorry. These are it? Okay. First one, Lynette Ramirez.
Thank you. As you know, I've been sick and I suffered vocal cord damage, so you'll have to deal with that. First, I'd like to thank the council for the backpack event. Sorry we haven't got a chance to get here before then. We do have a certificate for MacArthur Wright, thanking him. At the backpack event, we also had all of the children sign as they got their backpacks, just to show their appreciation to the city for helping us with the event. I'd like to thank Dr. Stone and Abigail, when she left, for all the help that they gave me through the event. The next item, she told me I had 3 minutes for both things. So my next item, in light of recent events, I'm requesting that the City Council draft and adopt an ethic and code of conduct policy with clear consequences for members. We have a problem when council members retaliate against constituents for speaking out. I have witnessed threats made against local businesses, defamation of local charities, and attempts to threaten the employment of residents. I say we have a problem because if constituents file suit against the city for violating their constitutional rights, the taxpayers end up footing the bill. Furthermore, this behavior is counterproductive to all of our goals. There are frequent complaints about lack of jobs and business growth in 29 Palms. It makes no sense for council members to contact employers over differing views, nor does it encourage potential businesses to invest here if they fear their plans will be blocked for not going along with certain officials. We cannot operate without professional standards. Adopting an ethic and code of conduct policy shows the citizens of 29 Palms that the council cares about accountability. Not having one tells us that our voice, our jobs, and our businesses do not count. Please send a clear signal that our voices matter by adopting an enforceable ethic and code of conduct policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Drake.
Hello. This is, I don't know if this is the 8th or the 9th time consecutively that I've been here and others have been here about the flock contract. I know that members of the council must by now be aware that mass surveillance is not just a 29 Palms problem or even a San Bernardino County problem. It's a nationwide and even global problem. In other words, it's not going to just fade away if you just ignore your citizens long enough. In fact, I think we all understand that it's not only that it's going to escalate as the surveillance itself is permitted to intensify. I'm sorry, I'm also getting over something. It's not going to fade away because it's not a trivial matter, such as a playground equipment. This is quite serious, and it's currently being played out in both court cases and real-world scenarios around the planet. If you haven't done any of your own research on any of the concerns that have been brought to you about the flock systems over the past 4 months, shame on you. Like, seriously, that would be ridiculous. If you have done research, the issues with flock and its makers Palantir, you should at least have some doubts or concerns about flock systems yourselves. If you did your own research and you still do not have any concerns or doubts, I honestly believe that you have lost your ability or will to think for yourselves. Never in my wildest dreams for most of my 51 years as an American did I ever imagine that I would need to beg a city council full of quote-unquote conservatives, politicians, to stop allowing the federal government and corporations to put spy cameras up on every frickin' corner of an arguably conservative city such as 29 Palms. I remember quite the opposite being the constant rhetoric of my youth and most all of the adults' years as well. Whatever happened to the patriotic speeches of our uncles about never wanting to be like the dirty commies in China who spy on their own citizens with cameras? That's all we used to hear on a daily when I was growing up and at Thanksgiving dinner. Yet here we are. It blows my mind. I never in a million years imagined this would be happening. Please stop ignoring us, okay? We all have jobs and families, and yet we keep showing up to whatever extent that we can. We have nearly 700 signatures on a petition against blocking 29 Palms with extremely minimal canvassing because, again, we all have jobs, businesses, and families, and it's not getting any easier to survive with any leisure time or time to participate in government left over after working for survival. What does that tell you about the importance of this matter to the community? This council absolutely owes it to the people who was elected to represent, to show more care, consideration, common sense, and caution regarding allowing and actually allocating taxpayer money to the installment of mass surveillance
Thank you.
infrastructure.
Thank you. Leanne Clark.
Thank you. Leanne Clark on behalf of the 29 Palms Ministerial Association. Just a reminder, May 7th is coming up. That's on a Thursday, National Day of Prayer. We will have 3 services that day open to the public, 7 a.m. and noon here at Veterans Park, and 6:30 p.m. at Gospel Fellowship Christian Center Church. There will be 7 prayer topics that will be prayed for: government, military, business, education, family, church, arts, media, and entertainment. Mayor Mins is scheduled to present a proclamation at the 7 a.m. service, and all services, again, are open for the public to attend. Also, the next emergency preparedness meeting for the 29 Palms community is going to be Thursday, May 21st. The time has changed from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. It will be held via Zoom, and so you can reach out to me or Stone for details to participate and obtain a link. And also, on behalf of the Ministerial Association and the Emergency Preparedness, we want to take time to remember Marjorie Smith. Marjorie Smith was a resident of Yucca Valley and a member of the 29 Palms Ministerial Association. She actually took the position of being a representative for the San Bernardino County COAD-VOAD for over 10 years and was instrumental in putting together a group dedicated to emergency preparedness here in the city of 29 Palms. She was a true leader, constantly educating people on the importance of being prepared if a natural disaster occurred. Sadly, Marjorie passed away last Tuesday evening. She led our area in emergency activation and was typically the first person contacted when an emergency occurred. With the Palm Springs bomber last year, she was called into 29 Palms to assist with the evacuation of residents on Adobe Road. Although she was 89 years young, Marjorie demonstrated that age is simply a number and everyone can be involved in some capacity in their community. She will be greatly missed, and it would honor her memory for folks to get involved and join the Zoom call on May 21st to continue the mission to be prepared for yourself, your family, and your neighbors. And so we want to give a great thank you to Marjorie Smith. We don't have details on the celebration of life. She had been to many city council meetings, not only here, received an award just a month or 2 ago from the town of Yucca Valley. So she was very well known and very productive and active, and we're just grateful she was a part of our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Beth Williams.
Good evening, City Council members, City Council President, and other distinguished managers and officers. This evening, I hereby request for the City Council to consider lowering the heat index for the designated city cooling center from 115 heat index to fall in line with the County of San Bernardino. They activate their cooling centers when the temperature reaches 100 degrees or higher, or when the heat index, temperature, and humidity reaches 100 degrees or above. And then their cooling centers are open to the general population. Secondly, I also request the staffing for the cooling center to be assigned from the Park and Recreation, since they are open, they work on the weekend, excuse me, and have the weekend staff. And finally, my request, please to be implemented immediately, these two concerns for our general population. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather H.
Notes on all the city council meetings of 2026. In case you haven't figured it out yet, I don't come here to speak to you. I come to get my voice on the record, sure. But mostly it resonates with those behind, I hope it resonates with those behind me, because we need each other. You all have done nothing but prove me right since I agreed to try this tactic. Every couple of weeks we come here, we say our piece, and you ignore us. You hope we disappear. It feels very much like protesting under fascism, completely useless. Well, congrats, I'll be headed north for a bit. I need to diversify my resources beyond 29 as I watch the oncoming collapse. It'll be coming for you too, once it swallows all the underserved people that cities claim to be helping but don't like to look at. Our tech overlords, you know, the ones who own Flock and are killing the planet with AI, they published a manifesto last week. Their founder says freedom and democracy are not compatible. Their CEO says we need uninhibited development of AI weapons to keep the world in line. He also threw in a few dog whistles, saying only some cultures can advance while others shall remain regressive, and how his tools will protect the privacy of the top dogs because ruthless exposure of their lives has driven true talent from government. Epstein's friends say the darndest things. These are the same billionaires not only buying our elections, but deciding which blue and red characters that we get to vote for. We can exit from this dystopia, turn off mainstream media owned by these same people, stop letting them steer our reality. At the very least, read real history, because we are failing an open book test. Last meeting we learned you can't build affordable housing here for less than $500,000. Meanwhile, there's 22 vacant homes for every unhomed person in this country. But the suits who already gave up will sit here and tell you it's impossible. Why? The long answer is endless paperwork, zoning, testing, permits, planning. The short answer, capitalism. Capitalism wasn't just commerce and innovation like they said. It's the same pyramid scheme this country was founded on. The laborers do all the work while the suits get paid. If the laborer can't work enough to eat, then they starve. And then they taught us to blame the ones who are starving. This was sold to us as the inevitable ultimate evolution of humanity. But these guys will not stop until we work for free and own nothing. Welcome to the dive into fascism. You see, it turns out freedom and capitalism are the ones that weren't compatible. In only a few generations, these top dogs managed to destroy the collective knowledge that we had to feed and shelter ourselves, truth and education and media, the land we share, our trust in each other, because the goal was competition for endless trickle-up profit, not collaboration and well-being. And we've become so dependent on our ruler systems that not only can we not see the way back out of the cage, we keep building it for them. They want us on the ropes begging for a savior. It's not too late to write a news story that serves us all. It's
Thank
long
you.
past time to flip the table. It's going to take us all because their cage is almost complete.
Thank you.
I'll pass.
Elliot Paisley.
Hi. I heard the presentation from Reach Out about Kratum, and I was, sad to hear about these overdoses. It's a tragedy. I'd be in favor of some sort of regulation on that, but I do get concerned whenever I hear about the government banning things and infringing on personal freedoms. I did a little bit of reading, and I think Kratom's been used for hundreds of years in Southeast Asia, and it seems to me like the vast majority of these deaths and overdoses are actually from interactions with Kratom and some other drug. I think the presentation alluded to that also with the mixing. So I think it would be, rather than trying to ban something outright, I think it'd be good to look at exactly what chemicals are the issue and maybe regulate the purity or something like that. And also, you know, don't sell it to kids, obviously. Yeah, don't like the idea of banning things outright. Secondly, have some more updates about Flock. I keep seeing additional cameras being installed over the past few weeks in this city. I don't think this city is listening to the facts. You guys are trusting the sales and marketing materials of Flock. So there's something that happened just this week on Tuesday. In the city of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, voted 5-2 to renew their contract with Flock. They had been having for a year. They're happy with it. The very next day, Wednesday, they voted unanimously 7-0 to rescind the contract. And now they're taking down all their Flock cameras. So what changed in 24 hours? Well, the Oshkosh chief of police told the council that Flock had lied to them. Although he said Flock is helping their investigations and clearing cases, he recognized it's unacceptable for vendors to lie about their product's capabilities just to gain approval. The issue was a question from the council about whether the system creates a heat map of vehicles' movements, showing a pattern of life over time. Flock says no, it does not do that, which is a lie. The police chief pointed out they have lots of training materials explaining how they do create a pattern of life. This is an intelligence methodology used by military forces to model the regular behaviors of individuals over time. And this is just the latest pattern of a long-standing conflict between what Flock says in their marketing and their sales materials to gain the support of the public and city councils like yourselves versus what they say in their training materials aimed at the law enforcement. Is that all my time?
Okay, 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Fine.
you. Scott Curry.
Thank you again. I just want to thank Stone James for outstanding service and passion for 29 Palms. You've been fun to know. Wish you the best in everything you do. Octavius didn't mention, he joined us at Copper Mountain College for the scholarship certificate dinner, and it was fantastic. The winner was from Yucca Valley. It was open to all high school seniors, and she got a scholarship valued at almost $250,000. This year they had 5 runner-ups, all from 29 Palms High School, and they get a 2-year scholarship, $2,500 per semester at Copper Mountain. So this coming year, remember to enroll all the seniors. It's free to enroll. It's an application. They had several months to fill it out. I think they only had 50 applicants. I would think every senior would want to fill it out. Copper Mountain College, there's a trustee here. They have a wonderful curriculum, nursing, firefighting, so take a look. Also, thank you for involving yourselves with Re-Enlist to Life. I was involved with them a little bit, and I put them on to a couple of you guys, and you ran with it. Thank you all. Get really good reports from everybody at the city, everybody, city planning, building, and the council. Really working well as a group for people interested in developing questions with the city. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all the slips I have. Anybody else before we move on? It's public comment. You can.
I'll make a slip.
Okay.
First of all, to say I'm part of a 501(c)(5) or nonprofit, so I can't lobby for any particular law. That's not my intention, even in coming here today. But when we're talking about Kratom, I think it's important when we talk about how it was used traditionally. It's a bit like comparing to the cocoa leaf or kava that are also used traditionally. When commercialism gets a hold of things, it's quite different. And a lot of synthetics and other materials are added to these substances. So I would just implore you to take that into consideration as well. I know that we as a community, 'cause a lot of us come out to the desert to be away from a lot of laws and restrictions, and to feel a little bit more free. But yeah, looking at how it's used traditionally versus what we're seeing in stores is a bit like comparing two different things.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. All right, city manager update.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity. We've actually have a couple of things to talk tonight, so this is not
All
going to
right.
necessarily be a quick one, but it's going to be important. So, really appreciate Ms. Clark's comments about Marjorie Smith. Marjorie Smith was an amazing human being, and she has had a material hand in helping me and the city and the community get prepared to and respond to disasters. She was here when the first floods hit, when I shortly after arriving, and she was putting in the time, putting in the hours. She was also involved in the East Desert Regional Steering Committee, which is that organization that is through the County Office of Homeless Services to really help improve quality of life for those who are unhoused. I drove out to Loma Linda on Monday to thank her and her family for her service and her care and her concern and her impact on the community. I thanked her on the behalf of the council, I thanked her on the behalf of the community, and I thanked her on my behalf. So I'm going to do my best not to choke up. So really an impressive woman. As Ms. Clark had mentioned, she was 89 years old, and you would have never known by her tenacity and her care and her concern and her involvement. So she definitely was a model of how to live a life and how to contribute to community, positively contribute to community. I also wanted to remind the online survey for the sales tax measure is available, and it would be the more input that we get from the community, the better. That really helps the council, will help the council navigate the question of the sales tax and really help residents understand the relevance of the sales tax as it relates to core city services. Future agenda items, wanted to work through a couple of the future agenda items. We are going to have a presentation at the next meeting here in May on the shade structures. Craig Stacy has been responsible for this, trying to get bids. He has worked very hard. It has been very difficult for him to get bids on shade structures within Freedom Plaza. So staff, myself, we're going to be bringing forward an agenda item to really foster a conversation with the council so that council can help staff understand what do shade structures at the Freedom Plaza look like. Is it for parking? Is it over the drive aisles? Is it in the little plaza by the ATM machine? What? So looking forward to bringing that before City Council. Also, we're going to have an item to discuss the policies regarding the use of city attorney resources. Also did some research on item number 4, and that's discussion of new federal holidays to coincide with the city's holiday schedule. Ultimately, Councilmember Wright had requested, given President Trump granting of December 26th, 2025 as a federal holiday. Did some research, found out that was only a one-time event due to the fact that the 26th landed on a Friday. And so as a consequence, that's not something that the city should be responsive to, because that's not a federal holiday into perpetuity. So just some good information there. We don't have to bring that back before the City Council based on that research. Also, the discussion of code enforcement compliance with Proposition 36 and ultimately to find a pathway to meeting the new guidance issued by Governor Gavin Newsom. This is something that staff is currently working on addressing through the creation of a policy manual for the Code Enforcement Department. We have identified that there is not a policy manual for code, and currently working on the establishment of one of those. Staff has begun researching the request to annex parcels, 2 parcels known as Set Free Ranch. That's something that Mr. Gardner and I are working on, and we will continue to work on identifying what would have to happen in order for that annexation to occur. Would have to say that annexation is difficult, and that is a process that is laid out by LAFCO, and so there can be a path. Sometimes those paths are very difficult. Then also in terms of Re-enlist to Life, I anticipate that organization is going to be able to make a presentation at our next city council meeting. So that'll be great for the community to hear about the very good things that they are doing for the community. I wanted to take a moment and talk about Flock. The comment was made earlier about the city not listening to the facts. I had a conversation with the police department and found out some kind of remarkable information. Unfortunately, there was an individual who was murdered, and his body was dumped in Wonder Valley, and he was in a wheelchair. So he was found deceased in a wheelchair. And it was because of the Flock camera system that they identified the vehicle that was ultimately involved in his murder and the suspect. And then as they pursued that individual, they found out that that individual, it was responsible for 3 other murders and up in the Victorville area. So I think the Sheriff's Department is somewhat limited on the information because this is an active murder investigation, but I thought it was an absolutely significant fact that they were able to identify the murder suspect because of the Flock camera. Also found out that here just recently there was a hit and run up by the Fans, and I want to say the owner of Fans was hit. Thankfully he wasn't killed, but he was hit by a car and that car drove off. And when the Sheriff's Department found out about that, they were able to access the Flock cameras, and within several hours they found the suspect who hit and thankfully didn't kill him, but hit that owner and fled the scene. And so, you know, I'll also say, just as city manager of an under-resourced city, we don't have the funds to double or triple or quadruple our law enforcement. And so that Flock camera system allows, like in this murder or in this hit and run, just an incredible tool for the Sheriff's Department to access. And this is a contract actually between Flock and the county. When I signed that contract after it came to council a few years ago, I actually said that I wanted no one, including myself, no one from the city to have access to Flock. So I don't know that I ever said that to council, but I just wanted to make sure I communicated that. So there is no one at the city, including myself, that has access to it. And similarly, on a very positive note, I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Cole. I've heard absolutely nothing just but tremendously positive things about you. I've already begun working on some transition summaries to really help you continue the fantastic momentum that the staff has done. And so I've been a little bit quiet about this, but it was also an incredibly difficult decision for me to resign. And ultimately, it came down to, I cannot, in good faith, serve this family if I am not serving my own. And so this has been an honor and a privilege to serve the council and to serve the community. I've looked at this not as a job, but as a vocation or a calling. There is so much promise, so many wonderful things in the community. My wife had lived here for 13 years. In fact, when we first started dating, she was living up here. And so my personal connection and affinity for 29 Palms is tremendous. And I just want to say it was very difficult for me to make that decision. But thankfully, the city is going to be in very capable hands with Mr. Cole, and I'm going to remain committed to helping Mr. Cole successfully transition and him be successful in that role. Thank you very much.
Mr. City Manager, I do want to keep 4 on there because it's not what I was talking about. I was talking about it not having to come to the council for a vote if that ever happened again, where the president granted that day as a holiday, then the staff could have it instead of having to bring it to the council to get it.
I appreciate you saying something. Thank you for that clarity, and we will make sure that we keep it on there and address this appropriately. Thank you.